welcome back to the show. Today we're going to entertain the question of what are the best pairs to trade and how to properly build a trading portfolio. Now, just a reminder before we start, we got a trading workshop coming up in late November. Just head over to www.tier1trading.com. There should be a banner on there, at least on the desktop version. Click on it and it'll give you all the information you need about how to register. Take my advice, seats are going fast, so get yourself on the wait list ASAP. That way, if anything opens up, you can make sure to attend. The next question was this: what pairs work best for you at the back pattern or for the back pattern? And what do you think my advice is when it comes to this? And I'm very purposeful with this. So what pair should I test? Yep, all the pairs. I did say this is my portfolio. You guys see it every day, but understand my portfolio doesn't mean that all these pairs work great with patterns. So for example, dollar Canada, not great with patterns at all, but it's a positive pair in my portfolio for other reasons. So it stays in there. But there are pairs outside my portfolio. I love Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie, but ATR issues, excuse me, and size of the ATR made it untradeable. There are other ones like Pound New Zealand that big spreads made it untradeable. So there are many different things. I always advise you test all the pairs that you would consider trading. So I think we did a podcast on this before, but look at all the pairs, take your list out 28 of them or more, right? Automatically eliminate ones that perhaps have spreads that are too big. So if you got like a 13 pip spread on New Zealand, Canada, and I'm not paying that much, eliminate them, right? And that may take you from 28, maybe you eliminate 8 of them to 20, right? And now you have 20 to test, right? Maybe for sure there are some pairs like, I don't like Swiss pairs, I'm going to take some Swiss pairs away. Now you're what? You're at 20 to 14. Now you got 14. Now you got 14 pairs to trade, right? But I would go through all of them. There is no. I would never trust any other traders, even myself and Jason Greystone. I would never trust any other trader's opinion on which are the best, because there is no best, because none of us are seeing the same thing. Some of us will see very similar things, but Gregory is going to see different patterns than me. So there can be a pair out there. This is how Darren was. There could be a pair out there that gives like super stupid sloppy patterns. And for me, I'm like, half these things, like, no way, I would never ever see this as a pattern. But Darren did. And it performed well for him, where for me, excuse me, it was a dry pair. So it's always going to be different. And then you don't have to deal with kind of the negative impact of losing confidence, where it's like, well, Akil said euro dollar is the best pair for patterns that he has, and for me, it didn't perform well. I must suck, right? And then that gets you on a whole other kind of snowball going somewhere else. So yeah, I would eliminate them based on size, spread, personal preference. If you have some beef with pairs, and then make a goal to test them all. I literally, when I do testing, I close my eyes, unless it's something I know. Like there are certain strategies that I know I know, like if they work, they probably should work on certain pairs because of their movement, just because I've done so much testing. But I just close my eyes and be like, click one. Okay, Aussie dollar, here we go. And then I start there because I know I'm going to get through them. I know I'm going to get through different ones, or all of them anyway, or at least a handful of them anyway. So I just start anywhere. But that's a good question. And then again, that goes even to the whole thing. We always talk about portfolios, where someone mentioned this to me the other day on the platform. He had he was testing I don't know if it was patterns. He was testing a strategy, and this is funny, but it makes sense. He had a pair that negatively performed, but he added it to his portfolio because, in a way, it helped out his portfolio. Does that seem kind of odd? I'll say it again. Our trader had a pair that he tested. it performed negatively, meaning it did not make money, but it was helpful to his portfolio. Now, how the hell can it be helpful to your portfolio if it does not make money? Does that make any sense? Has anyone heard of that before? Is that crazy talk? Should we have this trader committed? Should we storm his residence with pitchforks and flames and torches and hang that man? And hang his mentor. No, wait, shoot. No, that's me. Haha, no. I picture that's how it goes. We're all storming like Simpsons episode, right? Torches and pitchforks, and we're all like, let's hang that man. He's a warlock. And then like, I'm in the back. Yeah, hang him. Let's do blah, 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 burn him at the stake, whatever it is, like that. And then someone's like, and let's hang his mentor for teaching him that witchcraft. And I'm like, yeah, no. I changed my voice up. No, his mentor probably told him don't do that. This man disobeyed his mentor. That's what. Yes, I was there when his mentor said don't do that at all, and he blatantly disobeyed him. His mentor was right all along. Yes, his mentor was preaching the right statement. He's gone rogue. And then, of course, one of you guys catches there's his mentor right there. And I immediately point to Jason Greystone. Yeah, there he goes. That Greystone guy, right? Was that Smeagol? Yeah, I turned into Smeagol. I don't have much range with my voices, guys. Yeah, I do. I do read a lot of bedtime stories. Yeah, and then my kids are like, why do all your characters sound the same? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not very good at it. I'll do like 4 different characters, and I forget like which voice is for which. They just end up being the same character. And then my kids are smart. They're like, what? How come Bruce sounds like a girl? I didn't hit puberty yet, son. How come you're not asleep? How about that? But yeah, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but some of you guys, some of you old vets out there, you old gray-haired vets, it actually makes sense, right? We've had stories before about your steady Freddies, and you can have pairs in your portfolio that technically aren't profitable that help you out. And this is how it worked, right? So this specific pair wasn't profitable overall, right? Bigger picture from January to December, didn't make money. But during the times that his other pairs were in the suck, right? Going through a drawdown, this pair, and I don't know if it was seasonally or not, this pair actually performed well. So in a way, it helped his overall drawdown, because while everything else was going south, this one happened to be on a hot streak or like break even, and it would keep his I don't want to say his head above water, because the whole portfolio was good, but it would help limit the drawdown. So my response to this, like ideally you'd love to do that with a pair that isn't negative, but maybe just not that positive, right? I'm like, I don't think you ever want to introduce a negative pair, but maybe something that's not that positive. Like for me, patterns, I'm mentioning again, dollar Canada isn't great for patterns. It's not a great, it was a good home run trade pair for me. I haven't had one in like 3 years in dollar Canada. But it kind of just exists there. It doesn't really do great. It doesn't do poorly either, but it kind of does good when nothing else is doing anything else. So it's like usually when the rest of my pairs fall asleep, like dollar Canada, Aussie Canada is another one, they tend to do stuff, and it keeps everything moving in the right direction. Like it doesn't help me much in a sense, like it doesn't give me big profits aside from that. I had this awesome period on dollar Canada where I hit like 4 home run trades in a row. I don't know if you guys watch MLB playoffs, right? It's like the Red Sox and Yankees, man. That game, they had a game the other day. They were just hitting dingers, man. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, back-to-back home runs, and then Big Christmas hit one in the 9th for Cleveland. Oh, Big Christmas. It was like that, and then it kind of slowed down again. So it does make perfect sense. Again, ideally you'd want to have one that is break even or profitable. I don't think you will ever, unless you can't help it, you don't want to add anything to your your portfolio that's going to cost you money. But if you have something that's break even or like minimally profitable, something you would never trade by itself, but it works with the rest of the portfolio, that's fine. Yeah. George said that's Aussie dollar for me. Yeah. I have a lot of these pairs like Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, Aussie, New Zealand dollar, Canada. Like they don't really do a lot for me, if that makes sense. These three pairs, those three don't really do a lot for me, but they don't hurt me. They keep things kind of like my frequency of trade is really low on those three pairs, but they keep things even, right? Pound yen is volatile. Euro yen is volatile. I don't really do a lot on euro dollar either, but pound dollar is volatile. So I have these volatile pairs that opportunities come in bunches. They come in good bunches and bad bunches. And the other three kind of even that out. They water it down a little bit. So it's a portfolio that makes sense and it keeps everything going in the right direction. But yeah, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, you want to test all strategies because just because something may not be the most profitable doesn't mean it's not helpful. Because a lot of those profitable pairs are they're going to have a lot of volatility. They're going to be very good when they're good, and they're going to be very bad when they're bad. And you want, for me, I don't want very, very good and very, very bad. I don't want big roller coaster drops. I want a lazy river, right? I want to float lazily down a river and count my money without worrying about falling off and splashing and all that fun stuff. So certainly test them all. Before you go, make sure you leave the podcast a rating and a review. What? They haven't left you a rating and a review? Find them, hunt them down, tie them up, and force them to do so. Okay, enough of that. Thank you for joining the podcast. I'll see you guys next time.